Today I want to speak about memory. I've been asking questions in the last sermons. I'll ask another question. How good is your memory? Another title might be, do you have spiritual Alzheimer's? That might catch your attention. How is your olfactory memory? Not the old factory, but the olfactory. Smell. Can you remember the smell of God's love? Or have we forgotten in those words of that song, I love you, Jesus, are just words because we've forgotten the smell. Thank you, musicians. Have you ever given thought to the fact that without memory, we would not know our name, would not know where we live, we wouldn't know our age, where we were born, when we were born? Did you know that forgetting dates might even be dangerous? I mean, physically dangerous. You know that? If you ever want a plate thrown at you, or silence for a week, forget your wife's and your anniversary. Forgetting a birthday might not get you a plate over the brow, but certainly might be dangerous. Talking about birthday, David Nara's not here. It's his birthday. David Manilla's not here. It's his birthday. Elena Costa's her birthday. She's not here. So happy birthday to nobody. Why do we forget? The inability to retrieve memory is one of the most common causes of forgetting. The inability to retrieve it. Memory's there, but the inability to retrieve it. That's my trouble sometimes. Does that happen to anybody else here? You know it's there. You know the name. You know the word is just at the tip of your tongue, but that's not where you remember things, the tip of your tongue, is it? A word, a password, a name, it all eludes us until suddenly you stick your tongue in and somehow it comes from the tip of your tongue into your memory and suddenly we remember. So why are we often unable to retrieve that information from memory? There are two simple answers to this question that science gives us. The first one, we can't recover it because it's disappeared, been wiped out. Our hard drive glitched and the part where that memory was stored has been totally lost. And the other is that the memory's still there. In our system, but for some reason we cannot reach it, we cannot retrieve it. And forgetting information that's short-term, STM or short-term memory, that's when we forget where I left my car keys, where I left my reading glasses, Why did I walk into this room? I know I came here to get something. Does that happen to anybody? No young people. Did you notice that? Why did I walk into this room? Some people say that if you flash your eyes quickly like this, somehow you remember. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me. But what works, I go back to the last place I was, and on my way back, I remember. That works for me. Many theories about how memory works. They're still working on it. The psychologists make theories about forgetting. And that short-term memory, they say it's because of a word they say, a trace decay and displacement. I mean, those are just fancy words for it. I don't remember where I left my glasses. And the long-term memory, they explained it as theories of interference. I don't know what. Interference from aliens? From radio waves? Retrieval failure. I know that. That's a fancy word for I don't remember. But you know how scientists are. They put all these big names for simple things. Interference, retrieval failure, or lack of consolidation. Forget about it. Pardon the pun. That's the trouble. I forget about it. I can't retrieve it. So they say there's 3 stages in remembering an information. First is how it's encoded. Second, how it's stored. And they say retrieval is the third. That's my trouble. If I can't retrieve it, how do I know if it's stored? If it's not stored, how do I know it's even been encoded? Silly, these guys. Anyway, that's what they teach you. So they say the first stage in the memory is encoding. This is where we process that information, either by smell or sight or sound, and then retrieval failure. Not remembering, that's our main problem. We know it's there some way. Yet the strange thing, it cannot be explained. They really cannot explain how it works and why we recall. One, they can't explain why memory that they thought was not encoded, that was lost, suddenly is retrieved. Some people, they say they can't remember much about their childhood or their early school days, but returning to the house of their childhood or attending a school reunion, suddenly a flood of memories come back. Nobody knows. Or why, when people are close to death or have passed that point where they leave this body suddenly, or before an accident, they say they see their whole life flash before them. Memories that they've forgotten, boom, 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 they're there. It's like they're stored there, but they're locked out. Sounds also can retrieve memories. An old song. But the greatest of memory retrieval triggers, incredibly, is the sense of smell. Something that has been encoded by smell. The sense of smell is the closest link with memory, more than any of our other senses. Those that have a full olfactory or smell function are those that can remember smells. I can't. In fact, if I have my nose a little bit stuffed, like traveling all the time on the airplane, or those that have sinus problems or whatever, they can't smell anyway. But there's people that can recall the smell of things. And recalling the smell of things, they can recall memories. But even people that don't have that perfect sense of smell, you smell something, it probably happened to you. It's happened to me. You smell, and then suddenly this memory comes back from years or decades back, and you remembered something. The smell of an orchard in blossom brings back a recollection of maybe a childhood picnic, and it seems that our smell cells are linked to what's called our limbic system, which governs emotions, behavior, and long-term memory. So stop trying to smell spices to see where you left your glasses. It doesn't work with short-term memory. But it does work with long-term memory. And the loss of the sense of smell, they say, indicates some types of dementia. Even the coming of mild cognitive impairment and or Alzheimer's disease. And there are things that affect our memory. Sleep deprivation. That's why I don't remember how long I've been gone. Both quantity and quality of sleep are very important for memory because it affects also our moods and our emotions.